A baby's cry jolted me back to reality. I gazed blankly around. This was a small room with red double happiness decorations on the wall, beside which hung a wedding photo inscribed with, "Wishing John Smith and Amy Johnson 100 years of love and unbroken unity." Behind the door hung an old calendar. Open to the page, August 21st, 1988. Just then, the door swung open from outside. John walked in carrying a bag of groceries. He looked mid-20s, with a refined air, handsome and upright. I could hear the baby crying from outside. "What's going on?" John strode over, frowning at me. "Why are you spacing out? Go make milk for Lily." Lily Smith was the foundling I'd picked up outside our door a month before the 1988 college entrance exams. I gave the squalling infant in my arms a look of distaste, set her on the bed, and picked up a damp cloth to wipe my hands one finger at a time. The adopted daughter I'd doted on like my own flesh and blood in my past life now inspired no affection. Glancing up, I saw John crouching on the floor gutting fish and washing vegetables. He ordered habitually, "3 of my students are coming for dinner this afternoon. They're my top graduates this year, all got into Ivy League schools. Cook some of your best dishes." I stayed silent. John paused. "Aren't you going to ask who they are?" I gave a cold laugh. I'd forgotten the names of the other 2 students. But one girl I'd never forget. Emily White. Dinner started at 5 p.m. Teacher and students chatted merrily about college admissions, dreaming of the future. I couldn't join the conversation, nor did I care to. Emily sat across from me, 3 years my junior. She had a delicate, innocent look, wearing an oversized hand-me-down varsity jacket. Her figure was indistinct. She had a pale complexion, keeping her head down to eat silently, stealing occasional glances at the baby. In my past life, John had mentioned offhand that his student Emily had come down with an infectious illness. To protect the other students, she'd studied at home for the final 2 months before the exams. He'd occasionally visited to tutor her. At the time, I hadn't thought twice, it seemed perfectly normal. Now I realized, he was probably trying to hide her pregnancy. "Let's raise a toast," John said, pouring wine for the 2 male students and carefully filling Emily's glass with warm lemonade. "First, congratulations on getting into top universities, you'll always be my pride. Second, I wish you all the best in your futures." He took out 3 envelopes and handed them to his students, adding softly, "Living in New York is expensive. It's not much. Just a little something from your teacher and me." The students tearfully refused at first, but John insisted until they accepted. Each envelope held $100, equal amounts for all. But while I was cooking, I'd seen John slip a thick stack of bills into Emily's bag when no one was looking. In fact, he'd emptied his entire savings to fund Emily's college education. In my past life, Emily had graduated and landed a prestigious job, marrying a wealthy heir. Her life had been comfortable, until her husband's stock market losses and gambling debts led to his suicide. And their son was charged with manslaughter in a DUI accident. Buried in debt, she'd fled back to our town and reconnected with John. Middle-aged, they'd fallen into an affair like parched earth soaking up rain. By then, John was the school principal. He'd generously paid off all her debts. I'd raged, shouted, fought. I called Emily shameless. She'd sneered back. "Honey, you might want to look into plastic surgery. You're scaring people." The ugly scar on my face came from when Lily was 4. She'd been bouncing on the bed, about to fall onto a red-hot space heater. I'd lunged to push her away, only to slip and land face-first on the glowing coils. Even now, I can't forget the hissing of burning flesh, the searing pain. After that, John rarely touched me. Once, when he was drunk, we slept together. He'd taken one look at my face and vomited. I pretended to think it was the alcohol. "You know it's not your scar," he'd slurred. "Don't read into it." Snapping back to the present, I touched my smooth, unscarred cheek and feigned sadness. "I ran into a neighbor today. He said my dad fell while watering the garden and sprained his back. I need to go check on him. John blurted out. But what about Lily if you leave? Realizing his mistake, he forced a smile. You wouldn't be much help anyway. Why not just send him some money? I'm coaching the senior class, school starts early this week. And I can't take time off. I have to go, I said firmly. If necessary, I'll take Lily with me. John frowned. Don't be ridiculous. She's too young for a Greyhound bus. Tension hung in the air as we stared each other down. Just then, Emily piped up timidly. Maybe I can help? I can watch Lily during the day. And hand her off to Mr. Smith when he gets home from work. Before John could respond, I turned to Emily with tearful eyes. That would be a lifesaver. Emily. How can I ever thank you? Emily smiled demurely. Mr. and Mrs. Smith have done so much for me. It's the least I can do. John's excitement was barely contained, though he tried to sound stern. Just come back soon. Emily is leaving for New York soon. She needs to prepare her documents and luggage. We can't impose on her too much. Got it, I replied. Under the table, I held up a compact mirror and angled it subtly. Emily had kicked off her sneakers and was now barefoot, surreptitiously rubbing her foot against John's calf. John's Adam's apple bobbed. His face flushed as he gulped down wine. Wow. This Cabernet is strong. Going straight to my head. Disgusting. The next day, I packed early. I waited until Emily arrived before heading out. John bought my bus ticket himself and saw me onto the Greyhound. I waved as the bus pulled away. Once we cleared the city limits, I immediately disembarked and walked back, making a beeline for the West End photo studio. Do you have a video camera for rent? I asked the owner. The man smiled. Planning a wedding video. Sweetheart? I shook my head. I need to film something. Eye-opening. I needed proof, let their school and employers see what these two were up to. Unfortunately, the owner said the camera was out on loan for a few days. Can you wait? He asked. I frowned. I could wait, but I feared delays. Then I remembered something. In my past life, around this time, a young man from Hong Kong had stopped me on the street, saying I had star quality and asking if I wanted to audition for a movie. He'd said he'd be leaving town on August 22nd and asked me to meet him at the Golden Gate Hotel. Back then, I'd told John about it. He'd scoffed. You're a high school dropout waitress, what would a movie producer want with you? He's probably a scammer. I'd been naive enough to think he was just looking out for me. Years later, I saw that same man on TV, Michael Chen, a renowned director and two-time Oscar winner who'd launched countless careers. Exposing John and Emily was urgent. But this audition could be life-changing. This time, I was going. I took a bus to the hotel. From a distance, I saw a sleek black Lincoln parked out front. A group emerged from the lobby, stylishly dressed men and women dragging suitcases. At their head was a tall man in a white button-down and jeans, sunglasses perched on his nose. Effortlessly charming. I recognized him instantly, Michael Chen. Just then, Michael Chen shook hands with a middle-aged man and turned to climb into the Lincoln. Director Chen, I shouted urgently, hurrying toward him. But I stumbled into a garbage cart, its stinking contents spilling over me as I crashed to the ground. Ignoring the pain, I limped toward him. Director Chen, please wait. Michael pinched his nose, stepping back with a frown. Who are you? Daring not to approach, I blurted. Don't you remember? You stopped me on the street and said I had potential. Asked me to audition here on the 22nd. He removed his sunglasses, revealing a striking half-Asian face. He studied me, then smirked in halting Mandarin. Ah yes. Now I recall. My heart leaped until he added. But our appointment was for the 21st. You missed it. I detest unpunctual people. Please leave. I froze. After nearly 30 years, I remembered the audition but not the exact date. This was my only chance. I grabbed his arm, tears streaming. My apologies, There was a family emergency. He recoiled in disgust. Leave now. Or I'll call security. I dropped to my knees, bowing furiously. Please. Just one more chance. No one expected such desperation. Michael remained unmoved. This is pointless. The role requires a West City girl, classically trained in piano. Bright and innocent. Your look is close. But your eyes. They're dead. Like a woman who's given up on life. Not right for the part. Just then, his chubby assistant leaned in and whispered in Cantonese. Ron. Doesn't she remind you of Emma? Michael scoffed. Are you crazy? I've rejected Oscar winners for that role. What's she got? The assistant shrugged. Just saying. Your call. Michael paused, studying me for a long moment. Fine. Let her read for Emma. I learned the assistant was Sophia Sun. Michael gave me 10 minutes and a single page of script, Emma. A 1940s housewife discovering her officer husband's mistress. No backstory, just improvisation. How could I act with no training? I'd only seen soap operas. Finally, I decided to draw from life. Can you play my husband? I asked Sophia. Just enter at the end. Michael sat back in his chair, sunglasses still on, as his male assistant readied a camcorder. Action, he said in Mandarin. I imagined John had moved in with Emily, threatening to sue for divorce. My hands shook as I picked up the motel landline, dialing and hanging up repeatedly. Furious, I smashed the phone. Then chairs and glasses. Like a woman possessed. I grabbed a shard to slit my wrist. Then hesitated, silently cleaning up before staring at the door. Sophia entered, miming taking off shoes. I said nothing, tears falling uncontrollably. She shifted uneasily. Why are you staring like that? I gritted my teeth, silent, thinking of the 27 years I'd cared for John. The mother I'd nursed until her death. The life I'd built that Emily was stealing. Standing shakily, I said calmly. Dinner's ready. We're having pasta. The camera stopped. Michael was silent for a beat. Ms. Johnson, he asked. Have you experienced heartbreak? Or abuse? I lied. No. I channeled Chow Chi Chiao from the Golden Kang, a woman trapped in a loveless marriage. Driven mad by repression. He studied me. Would you sign a contract with me? My voice trembled. Yes. Good. You can handle moving to Hong Kong? I nodded. But I need to borrow your camcorder. That night, Michael trailed me home, grumbling. I must be insane, helping you film this trash at midnight. Thank you for this, I said, bowing awkwardly. He rolled his eyes. Just divorce him already. The courtyard was quiet, the neighbors were away. Approaching our door, I heard loud creaking and muffled moans inside. Michael leaned in, smirking. Your husband's got stamina. I shot him a glare, took a breath, and kicked the door open. A woman's scream. I flipped the light switch. There they were, naked, tangled together. Emily yelped, covering herself beneath John. John's eyes bulged. Amy. You're supposed to. He scrambled for his pants. Face flushed. Hair damp with sweat. Spotting Michael, he roared. Who the hell are you? Michael ignored him, steadying the camcorder to focus on Emily's face. John grabbed a chair and swung it at Michael's head. Look out! I shouted. Michael blocked the blow with his arm, then kicked John in the gut. John stumbled back, his lower back hitting the desk edge to avoid falling. Michael shut the camcorder and packed it carefully into his bag. He strode over, grabbed John by the neck, and flipped him onto the floor in one smooth motion, twisting his arm behind his back to pin him down. Clearly trained in martial arts, John struggled wildly, shouting at me. Amy Johnson. Who is this guy? You're cheating on me? Just then, a neighbor called out. Mr. Smith? Amy? What's going on in there? I opened the door, smiling at the onlookers. Just a rat problem, we're taking care of it. Closing the door, I glanced at Emily trembling on the bed before approaching John. Let's talk. The analog clock ticked loudly. The room was silent except for Emily's sobs. Finally, John spoke. Emily. Go home. I'll handle this. Emily stood to leave. Stay right there, I snapped. Rolling up my sleeves. John stepped between us. Blocking me. You said your dad was hurt. Why come back in the middle of the night? You set this up. And who is he? Your lover? How long has this been going on? Classic John. In my past life. When I caught him with Emily in a motel. He'd blamed me. Called me every name in the book. In his eyes. I had no virtues. Playing bingo with coworkers? Addicted to gambling. Lending my brother $2,000 after his car accident? Bankrupting our family for your relatives. He'd endured me for decades. He said, would rather leave with nothing than stay married. Nothing was right, he'd sold our house. Drained our savings to pay Emily's debts. He'd even convinced Lily to lie about gambling debts to scam $15,000 from me. I swallowed my rage. Glancing at Michael. Who now sat by the door with a novel. Legs crossed. Looking bored. He's a private investigator I hired, I said. 10 of you couldn't take him. So behave. Reminder, half the people here work at your school. This gets out. Your reputation's toast. I nodded at Emily. Hers too. John was silent for a minute. Then sighed. Feigning guilt. This isn't Emily's fault. I had too much to drink with colleagues. Came home and thought she was you. I laughed. So you're claiming you raped her? I turned to Emily. Want me to call the police? We have footage. Emily flinched. No. Please. Mr. Smith has done so much for me. I don't blame him. Interesting, I sneered. Sounded like you were enjoying it earlier. Michael coughed to hide a laugh. John grit his teeth. We're merry. Amy. Let's sort this in private. I'll apologize, grovel, just delete the video. Emily joined in. Weeping. I promise I'll never come back to West City. Never see Mr. Smith again. Really? I smiled. What about your daughter? Lily? Color drained from Emily's face. Her lips trembled. John exploded. Leave Lily out of this. She's a foundling. Is she? I asked coolly. On May 10th, 1988. I found a basket outside our door, diapers. A note from a mother claiming her in-laws drowned her previous daughters. She begged us to raise the baby since we were the kindest, most educated couple on the block. You took her to the police. Then brought her back. Saying we'd foster her temporarily. Funny how you gave Emily thousands in cash right after she fell ill senior year. Funny how Lily was born 9 months after Emily's illness. Want to guess what happens if we run a DNA test? I grabbed Emily's arm. Let's go to the clinic right now. No. She struggled free. John. Help me. John shoved me away. Stop this madness. You hate the kid. Just say so, don't drag Emily into your lies. I held Lily up. If she's not Emily's, maybe we should. No. Emily snatched the baby, clutching her protectively. No need for a test, the maternal panic in her eyes said it all. John sank to the floor, hands in his hair. Finally, he looked up. What do you want? Amy? First, a divorce. Second, Emily's college acceptance letter. Absolutely not, he roared. Do you know how hard she worked? This is cruelty. I stared at him. Always Emily first. Bravo, I said. Clapping. Such a hero. Let's do the math. Emily. You're 19, pregnant at 18. Statistically, how many tries does it take to conceive? So when exactly did your affair with Mr. Smith start? Before or after your 18th birthday? I turned to John. Statutory rape. Right? Wonder what the school board would say. Panic flickered in his eyes. We were legal. You can't prove otherwise. Sure, I smiled. But will the university believe that? The police? Your students' parents? Emily collapsed to her knees, pressing a pair of scissors to her throat. Take the letter or I'll kill us both. Michael tensed. But I shook my head. John tackled her, wrenching the scissors away. Don't be stupid. He glared at me, hatred blazing. You're trying to murder her. Please, I scoffed. She's too selfish to die. It's 1 a.m. I'm done waiting. I'm waking the neighbors. Then calling the police. Either John goes to jail for statutory rape, or you both lose your jobs, your degrees, everything. Your choice. John blocked the door. After everything we've been through, you'd destroy us like this? I met his gaze. You destroyed our marriage the moment you climbed into bed with her. He stared at me, defeated. Divorce and the letter, nothing else? I nodded, smiling. John turned to Emily. Get the acceptance letter. Emily shook her head violently. No. College is my life. He pulled her into a hug, cooing soothingly. We have no choice. Emily. Amy will ruin us if we don't comply. You can reapply next year, with me by your side. What do you have to fear? After a long hesitation, a tear fell from her eye as she nodded. She dug into her duffel bag, clutching the letter tightly before I snatched it away. I pulled a lighter from my pocket and set it ablaze in front of her. Emily shrieked, grabbing at the flames. I backhanded her across the face. She stared at me, panting with rage. You're a monster. Don't play the victim, I scoffed. Everyone pays for their sins. You lost a degree, but gained a loving man. Quite the bargain. I grabbed my bag and walked out, slamming the door behind me. We signed the divorce papers at 9 a.m. Try anything, and I'll make sure you both rot in hell. The divorce was seamless. We agreed not to tell our families yet, to spare them the drama. But John made one plea. I gave you the settlement, signed the papers, destroyed the letter. Just give me the tape. I refused. That footage was my insurance policy, proof to keep Emily out of college, to silence John's lies. Its release would depend on their good behavior. On our last meeting, I asked, will you marry Emily? None of your goddamn business, he snapped. He'd recognized Michael from the newspaper, that Hong Kong director holding auditions in every city. You've been scheming to climb into his bed from the start, he sneered. I hope he dumps you hard. I smiled sweetly. And I hope you and Emily rot together. Watch your step, karma's a bitch. I added. Emily's not as innocent as she looks. When we fought, she only cared about college, not whether you went to jail for rape. Better keep an eye on your true love. She might run off with the next guy who offers her a way out. He cursed me and stormed off. 30 years of marriage, 2 lifetimes of turmoil, finally over. A month later, Michael wrapped his mainland shoot and took me to Hong Kong. At a Cantonese tea house, he sipped black tea while reading the paper. I wrote furiously. Love letters, he mocked. Just checking in with my cousin in West City, I lied. In truth, I was penning an anonymous tip to the West City School Board, accusing John Smith of having an affair with a student. Too soft, Michael noted, flipping a page. Burning her letter was petty. She can just reapply. Closure takes time, I said vaguely. I didn't tell him about the pending family crisis. John's mother would suffer a stroke by year's end, leaving him as the sole caretaker, while Emily, I suspected, would abandon him and the baby to pursue her own ambitions. No. They wouldn't escape that easily. The tip would ensure their scandal stayed public, trapping them in each other's orbit. Debts, after all, must be paid. Time to go, Michael said, folding his paper. You need a stage name. Amy Johnson is basic. Any suggestions? He paused. Zoe Sue. Zoe means life, suits your fresh start. Perfect. My Hong Kong journey was equal parts daunting and exhilarating. Michael's film, West City Lights, an art house drama destined for festivals, cast Hong Kong's queen of indie cinema, Vian Chan, as the lead. The West City accented supporting role went to a local opera singer, polished, poised, Everything I wasn't. Michael was blunt. I signed you for your raw talent. But this industry is stacked with pretty faces and trained actors. You've got 6 months to prove you belong here. Our contract was temporary. Unpaid. With no guaranteed roles. Sink or swim, he'd said before jetting to London. Sophia sighed. Ron can be such a jerk. Leaving you here with no support? He gave me a chance, I insisted. That's more than most get. Grateful for Sophia's help finding a tiny flat in Mongkok. I took her advice to heart, master Cantonese. Or drown. I took a cash-in-hand job at a fried chicken joint, perfect for practicing language skills while staying flexible for auditions. I spent my meager savings on skincare and yoga classes. An actress's face is her resume. At night, I devoured scripts and classic films. Determined to bridge my experience gap. Gone were the days of living for others, Lily's tutors. John's meals. His mother's care. Now, every effort was for Zoe Sue. For the first time, I existed solely for myself. November arrived quickly. Sophia got me a spot on a film set. My role was a background extra, no lines. No close-ups. Just a face in the crowd. But it gave me a front-row seat to observe how a production worked. How seasoned actors prepared their roles. Of course, as a nobody, I faced indifference. Snide comments. Sideways glances. What did I expect? When you're starting at the bottom, you learn to bend before you can stand tall. News from West City trickled in. John had been investigated. Shortly after the new school year began, the West City School Board received an anonymous complaint alleging an improper relationship between John Smith and former student Emily White. An internal audit confirmed the affair. Rumors about our divorce spread, followed by whispers that Lily was John and Emily's biological daughter. They denied it fiercely, claiming their relationship began after our divorce, when Emily was legally an adult and a high school graduate. Since when does the school board police private relationships? They protested. Still, the scandal stuck. John had been poised to become department chair, thanks to his star students, but now his reputation was in tatters. Colleagues he'd crossed or outshone piled on with complaints. The board ultimately voted to suspend him from West City High. Through frantic networking and student testimonials, John retained his teaching license, but was transferred to a rural middle school hours away. For a man who'd prided himself on climbing the academic ladder, it was a fate worse than death. But he had Emily, his true love. Word was they'd gotten engaged. Perfect. Let them suffer together. 6 months flew by, the end of my temporary contract. And Michael's evaluation loomed. I spent the morning prepping, reviewing my acting notes, practicing monologues, applying makeup that was professional but forgettable, per Sophia's advice. At noon, Sophia called. Ron just wrapped a shoot. Meeting at 2 p.m. But he can spare 20 minutes for coffee at 4. I rushed to Michael's studio, greeting Sophia with a hug. Zoe, you look amazing, she said, eyeing my tailored blazer. And so confident. She led me to Michael's office. He's in a meeting. Help yourself to tea or coffee. No. Thanks, I'm good, I said. Too nervous for caffeine. Sophia sat with me. Don't stress. I checked with the crews you worked with, they all say you're a hard worker with a great attitude. Do you think? Will he renew my contract? She waved a hand. Definitely. The newbies this year don't hold a candle to you. Just then, the door burst open. A stunning mixed-race girl, maybe 4 years old, skipped in, followed by a middle-aged woman with a lunchbox. Where's Daddy? The girl lisped, peering around. I want my daddy. I looked at Sophia, startled. That's Ron's daughter. Joey, she whispered. Joey Chen. Nanny Lon takes care of her. Ron's married? Sophia snorted. Hardly. Joey's mom is British, they dated years ago. She's married to a billionaire now. Ron's not the marrying type. I gaped. But this is old news, Sophia said. Tabloids had a field day when Joey was born. You just don't follow gossip. That's all. Joey toddled over to me. leaning on my knees with big, curious eyes. She was a doll, blonde curls, lace dress, lashes like butterfly wings. "Who are you?" she asked, grinning. "Are you Daddy's girlfriend?" Before I could answer, her smile vanished. She stood on tiptoe and slapped my cheek. "I hate you, bad lady." Lon rushed over, scooping her up. "Joey, we don't hit. Apologize to the nice lady." Joey stuck out her tongue at me as they left. Sophia winced. "Sorry, she's spoiled rotten. Don't take it personally." "I'm fine," I said, rubbing my cheek. Joey suddenly ran back, climbing onto my lap to grab the Mickey Mouse keychain on my bag. "I want this. Take it off." Sophia sighed. "Just give it to her." "Zoe." I shook my head, kneeling to meet Joey's gaze. "If you want it, you have to ask nicely." "Give it to me," she demanded, reaching out. "Nope. You were rude earlier, so I'm upset. I don't want to give it to someone who's not polite." Joey stared, shocked at being refused. "I'll tell Daddy to fire you. I need Mickey." I held her tiny hands. "Kids who throw tantrums don't get presents. You know. But I don't like you. First, I'm not your daddy's girlfriend. Second, you misunderstood me. Don't you think you owe me an apology?" Joey frowned, confused. Lon intervened, clearly unwilling to let a nobody demand an apology from her charge. "Time for lunch. Joey, you didn't eat your veggies yesterday, Daddy will be cross." Joey pushed Lon away, clinging to me. If you're not his girlfriend, maybe I shouldn't hit you." "Sorry." She touched the keychain. "Can I have it now?" "Only if you eat all your veggies today." Joey turned to Lon, shouting, "I want lunch now." Lon pulled out a bento box, kneeling to feed her. But Joey pointed at me. "I want pretty auntie to do it." I set the box on a chair. "You're 4 years old, big girls feed themselves." Joey pouted, then picked up her fork, stabbing a carrot slice and eyeing me warily. I nodded encouragement. "Good job." Lon marveled. "I've never seen her eat veggies without a fight. You have a magic touch." I smiled faintly. Just practice from raising a spoiled kid, I thought. After finishing her meal, Joey claimed the Mickey keychain, promising to eat veggies every day for a Donald Duck toy. She dragged me into a game of pretend until she grew drowsy, curling up in my lap. Nanny Lon tried to take her home. Joey Chin wailed and refused to leave, throwing a tantrum to see her daddy. I knew the little girl was just craving her father's presence. Sophia sighed. "Ron's in a meeting. And there's a script reading later. If Joey bothers him now, he'll lose it." After a pause, I beckoned to Joey. "How about I tell you a story?" "Sweetie?" Her nose red from crying. Joey asked. "What stories do you know?" I smiled gently. "Lots of them, Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Journey to the West." Joey snuggled into my arms, stretching out her tiny hands to be held. I lifted her, cradling her just like I'd once held Lily, stroking her arm softly as I began to weave tales. Joey's hand rested on my chest, her thumb in her mouth, her eyes fixed on me with rapt attention. Gradually, her lids grew heavy, and she drifted off. When Nanny Lon tried to take her, Joey clung to me, sobbing. "It's okay. I'll carry her," I said. 20 minutes later, the door swung open. Michael Chen walked in, leaner, with a fresh crew cut that sharpened his already striking features. Our eyes met. He froze for a beat, then strode over to take Joey from my arms. "Half asleep," Joey murmured, clutching my neck. "Mommy, hold me." I stiffened, glancing at Michael. His gaze turned glacial. He snatched Joey away, thrusting her into Nanny Lan's arms. "Who authorized bringing her to the studio?" Nanny Lon bowed hurriedly. "My mistake, Mr. Chen. It won't happen again." Once they left, Michael turned to me, voice icy. "Zoe Sue, what is your agenda here?" Sensing his fury stemmed from Joey's mommy slip, I rushed to explain. I was just. Don't play dumb, he snapped. You think using my daughter will manipulate me into renewing your contract? To stay in Hong Kong? To become a star? My throat tightened. I would never. Then why call you mommy, he barked. I know your history. You begged for an audition. Sabotaged your ex-husband with an anonymous letter, now you're exploiting my child. Sophia interjected. Ron. I was here the whole time. Zoe didn't say anything inappropriate to Joey. Shut up, he roared at Sophia. Then pointed at me. Listen closely. Zoe. No reputable studio in Hong Kong will sign a schemer like you. If you want fame, go shoot porn while you're still young, no one will care in a few years. My nails dug into my palms. That's unnecessarily cruel. Mr. Chen. Get out, he said, pointing to the door. When I tried to plead, he picked up the phone. Security. Escort Miss Sue out of the building. I wiped my tears, bowing deeply. You'll always be my mentor. Mr. Chen. As I reached the door, I turned. Your daughter needs more than gifts, she needs you. Fix your parenting before it's too late. Rain lashed the city as I sat on a concrete stoop, watching traffic blur through my tears. Hong Kong's skyline loomed above, glittering. Indifferent. The dream I'd carried here 6 months ago felt shattered. Sophia found me there, holding an umbrella over my head. Zoe. Are you all right? I collapsed into her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. She rubbed my back. Don't take it personally. Ron's latest project got rejected today. And Joey. She's a raw nerve for him. I swear I didn't use her, I choked out. I believe you. But Ron's too proud to admit he overreacted. What will you do now? I shook my head. He's blacklisted me. Sophia. I'll never work in Hong Kong's film industry again. She sighed, hugging me tighter. You're resilient. Whatever path you take next, you'll dominate it. I'm sure of it. In the days that followed, I pounded the pavement for extra work. But every casting office turned me away. Michael's threat had teeth. With rent due and savings dwindling, I considered fleeing back to West City, but failure wasn't an option. He'll cool off, I told myself. Just wait him out. On the 10th day after the confrontation, Sophia burst into my tiny apartment, grinning ear to ear. Ron wants to sign you to a long-term contract. Are you in? I stared, stunned. But he hates me. She rolled her eyes. Men. After I left his office, he did flip through your notebooks. And Joey's been begging for pretty anti-nonstop. Yesterday, he made me replay the security footage and watched your background scenes from that period drama. Don't tell him I said this. But he was impressed. That evening, I stood outside Michael's office, heart hammering. He looked up as I entered, his expression unreadable. Your notebooks, he said finally. They show dedication. I nodded. Mute. Joey's therapist says she's more settled when you're around, he added, shifting in his chair. She asked for you 6 times this week. I enjoy her company, I said simply. He slid a contract across the desk. 6-month renewable. Standard terms. But his gaze sharpened. No more stunts. Understood? I signed quickly, hands trembling. As I turned to leave, he called out, Zoe. I paused. Thank you, he said quietly, for handling her gently. I smiled. Just remember, no more skipping veggies. The rain had stopped, leaving sunlight glinting off skyscraper windows. Hong Kong stretched before me, brutal yet full of second chances. This time, I wouldn't just survive. I'd make sure they remembered my name. Sophia grinned at me. Ron wants to sign you for 5 years. In? I nodded eagerly. Absolutely. 100% yes. My official contract with Chen Entertainment was a hard-won milestone. I moved out of my tiny rundown apartment into a sleek studio the company leased. No more communal showers. No more shared kitchens. Shortly after signing, Sophia called. Joey's been asking for you non-stop. Want to hang out with her? I didn't hesitate. Of course. At the Chen villa. Joey came running the second I stepped out of Sophia's car. Pretty auntie. Did you bring me a present? She chirped, hugging my legs. I knelt to boop her nose. Depends, have you been eating your veggies? Joey nodded solemnly. And drinking milk every day. Good girl. I pulled out a Donald Duck plushie. Her eyes lit up. Yay. Thank you. Auntie. Glancing around, I whispered to Nanny Lon. Is Mr. Chen home? He's in the study. Writing a script, she replied with a smile. I spent the afternoon playing dolls, cooking mac and cheese, and watching Joey nap. I should have left then, but instead, I asked Nanny Lon to brew coffee and knocked on the study door. Come in, Ron's cool voice called. My heart raced as I entered. Cedar cologne and the faint smell of cigarettes hung in the air. The study was massive. Shelves lined with hardcovers, DVDs, and vinyl records. Ron sat at his desk, casual in a sweater and wire-rimmed glasses, sketching storyboards with quick, precise strokes. Still here, he said without looking up. I froze, terrified of spilling coffee on his work. He glanced up, smirking. Where's that fire you had the other day? You practically slammed the door in my face. I blinked. When did I? He tapped the desk, indicating the coffee. The day you lectured me about parenting. Oh. That. I set the cup down, awkwardly lingering. Something else? He took a sip, eyebrow raised. I bowed formally. Thank you for giving me another chance. Mr. Chen. He waved a hand. Blame Sophia. She insists your talent. Silence fell. He drew. I stood like a statue. Spit it out, he said, lighting a cigarette. I swallowed. Sophia mentioned a police thriller role next month. But I feel unprepared. I want to join the acting conservatory. He scoffed. Using Joey to butter me up now? I stood my ground. This is about my growth. Our contract states the company provides training. And let's be real, if I bomb, it reflects on you. But if I succeed, well, I'll make you money faster. He smirked. Dream bigger. Now get out. But. Out. Ugh. I left. Annoyed but not defeated. A post-gym endorphin rush helped, until Sophia called that night. Voice buzzing with excitement. Zoe. Ron got you into the ATV acting conservatory. Do you know how exclusive that is? He promised to cast their star in his next film just to swing this. I gasped. But he shot me down when I asked. Sophia laughed. Classic Ron. He feels guilty about the office incident but won't admit it. Congrats. Girl. Guilty. Huh. The conservatory was intense, classes with industry veterans. Peers who'd later become award winners. I threw myself into scripts. Improv. Movement training. Opportunities followed, minor TV roles. A few commercials. Even a producer pitching me for a supporting role in a big-budget period wuxia drama. But Ron nixed it. TV ties you down for months. Focus on film. I knew the real reason. Joey refused to let Nanny Lon drop her off at preschool. She wanted me, the closest thing she had to a mother figure. So I stayed close. Visiting the villa often. Ron started mentoring me casually, critiquing scenes. Sharing editing tricks. Despite his perpetual scowl. Our rapport thawed. Christmas break. Ron took time off. Joey begged us to hit Disneyland. Kids have endless energy. By bedtime, she still wanted to play Eagle vs. Chickens. I was the hen. Joey clung to my shirt as we dodged Ron's eagle attacks. Catch me. Daddy, she shrieked. Laughing. Ron lunged, tackling us both onto the rug. Got you. He tickled Joey, who rolled around giggling. Mommy Zoe. Help, she cried. I stiffened, waiting for Ron's explosion. But he just smiled, booping my forehead. Terrible hen. I stole your chick. I stared, stunned. No anger, just playful sarcasm. We wrestled until Joey yawned. I bathed her. Read Goodnight Moon. And tiptoed downstairs. There was Ron. Sitting by the fireplace with a wine glass and a Hemingway novel. Stay for a drink, he said. I sat across from him. Sipping the expensive red, Bleck. Still tasted like grape juice gone wrong. Noticing my grimace. Michael arched a brow. Not a fan? I nodded bluntly. I'm more of a bourbon girl. This fancy stuff's lost on me. He laughed. Shaking his head. Next time. I'll pour you a Knob Creek. The living room was dimly lit. Fireplace embers casting shadows on his face, chiseled cheekbones. The open collar of his white Henley revealing a sliver of chest. As he leaned in, I tensed. Leaning back. Relax, he smirked. Brushing a strand of hair from my face. Glitter. He settled back. Sipping his wine. My heart raced. The fireplace heat suddenly stifling. I hadn't drunk much. But the moment felt heady. Joey adores you, he said. Swirling his glass. She's happier since you came around. Even toned down the tantrums. Thanks. Zoe. I waved it off. I adore her too. He clinked my glass. About what I said before. I was out of line. Sorry. I pretended to mishear. Wait, Sophia said you're too stubborn to apologize. Did my ears just deceive me? He reached for the phone. Sophia's gossiping about me? I should dock her pay. I grabbed his hand. No, blame me instead. His smile lingered as his gaze fell to my hand. I pulled back. Fists hidden behind me. Tension crackled like sparklers, soft. Illicit. Electric. He tucked a loose strand behind my ear. I turned down 3 TV offers for you this year. Mad? I shifted. Masking disappointment with a smile. You know this industry better than anyone. Good. His grin was cat-like. I checked my watch. I should go. He stood smoothly. It's late. Stay the night. I'll be fine, I said. I drove, be home in no time. Shortly after Christmas. Sophia called. Buzzing with news. Zoe. Ron got you a role in Liang Chaosheng's new period film. I knew the truth, this was payment for babysitting Joey. Before filming, Michael prepped me thoroughly. Your third billing. Most of the heavy liftings with the leads. The script called for a month of shooting, manageable. So I wouldn't abandon Joey. I pinky promised the little girl I'd be back soon. On set, the vibe was mostly cordial. The lead actress, a triple threat star, was down to earth. The male lead, Ethan Lin, fresh off a Best New Actor win, was poised for greatness. I learned a lot until the second female lead, Monica Sun, started targeting me. During a slap scene, she accidentally kept missing her mark. My cheek was swollen and bruised by lunch. Sorry, Zoe, she cooed, handing me an ice pack. First time on set, nervous. You know? I forced a smile. First time? With a sugar daddy like hers. Sure. Alone with Sophia? I asked. What's her deal? Sophia dabbed powder on my cheek. Scowling. She's Ron's ex-girlfriend. Word spread when he got you into the conservatory. She's jealous, tried trapping him with a pregnancy once. He found out and dumped her. Ah. Classic Michael drama. One afternoon, after my single scene, Monica pitched a fit. My diamond ring is missing, she shrieked. That pink diamond cost a fortune, someone stole it. She demanded the set be locked down. Her assistant searching bags one by one. When only Ethan, the lead actress, and I remained. I knew what was coming. Mind if I check your bag? Zoe? Monica smirked. Arms crossed. I do mind, I said coldly. Only the police get to search me. She rolled her eyes. Guilty conscience. Huh? Her goons grabbed my bag. Dumping its contents, cosmetics, notebooks, and a velvet jewelry box I'd never seen before. Monica shrieked. That's mine. Slapping me hard. Caught red-handed. Sophia stepped in front of me. Don't you dare frame her. Monica's bodyguards moved in. But I shoved Sophia behind me. Let's call the police. They can dust for prints. Panic flickered in Monica's eyes. No need for cops over a misunderstanding. Just apologize, Anne. Not happening, I snapped. Call the police. Director Lee. Lee hesitated. But Ethan spoke up. I saw Monica's assistant sneak into Zoe's dressing room an hour ago, he said. Pushing off the wall. I vote we check security footage. Monica rounded on him. But the director held up a hand. Enough, he said. We have surveillance. Let's see what it shows. His tone made it clear, Monica had overplayed her hand. Monica's face flushed bright red. Still eager to escalate the drama. Director Lee snapped. Are we filming or not? If you want to quit, get the hell out. Monica froze. Tears spilling as she stormed off. You'll regret this. I exhaled. Relieved the fiasco had ended harmlessly. The assistant director had whispered something to Lee, clearly. Someone powerful had intervened. My lips curved. I know exactly who. Ethan Lynn approached me then. Thanks for earlier, I said quickly. He waved it off. No big deal. You needed backup. I tilted my head. Why go out of your way? He grinned. I graduated from the conservatory 2 years ahead of you. That makes me your senior. I offered my hand. Well then. Thanks, senior. Ethan shook it. Lingering. Words aren't enough. Let me take you to dinner sometime. I agreed readily. With his night shoot pending. We scheduled it for later in the week. Leaving the set. I spotted Michael's Range Rover from afar. Giving Sophia a subtle nod. I hurried over and slid into the passenger seat. I thought it was you, I said. Wincing as the motion tugged at my bruised cheek. When did you get here? Michael leaned in. Thumb grazing my skin. Noon. That bitch hit hard. Does it hurt? I rolled my eyes. This is your fault. You know. He arched a brow. Sophia blabbed. Didn't she? Also her mouth shut next time. Don't blame her. I needed to know why I was being targeted. I sat up straight. Sophia said Monica has a sugar daddy. Won't pissing him off cause problems for you? Concerned about me? Michael reclined. Casual. Her guy's married to my friend Julia. I gave her a heads up. Understood? Ah. Classic power play. By the way, he said. Eyeing me sideways. I saw you chatting with Ethan. What was that about? He went to the conservatory too. He's my senior. And he's cute. Talented, asked me to dinner. Michael's gaze darkened. Twirling a strand of my hair. Will you go? My gut warned me. No. My career's just starting, I can't afford scandals. He smirked. Smart girl. Before I could respond. His lips were on mine. I hesitated. Then kissed back. We became a thing. Michael was as dominant in bed as he was in life. We stayed in his penthouse for 3 days. Not leaving the bedroom once. After that. He visited set whenever he could. Though unspoken. The crew treated us like a couple. Ethan avoided me for days. Then finally approached. Blunt. I was gonna ask you out. Guess I missed my chance. He paused. Adding awkwardly. Michael's talented. But, he has a reputation with actresses. I thanked him. Saying I'd keep it in mind. Thanks to Julia and Michael. The screenwriter expanded my role. In editing. Monica's scenes were slashed. I became the de facto second lead. During promotion. Footage of Monica slapping me and framing me leaked. Tabloids dug up her past, photos of her in compromising positions. Rumors of drug use. Monica was blacklisted. While she vanished from public view. I gained sympathy and traction. My first major film premiered to rave reviews. Overnight. I had brand deals. Script offers, and critics digging for dirt. Mostly gossip about my love life, but as they say, any press is good press. Michael and I grew closer. We took Joey to Disneyland. Baseball games. Aquarium trips. Sometimes. It felt like we were a real family. I even daydreamed about weddings, me in a Vera Wang gown. Him slipping a diamond on my finger. Sophia rolled her eyes at my fantasies. Love makes women stupid, she'd say. Flings are fine. But don't fall for him. He's a genius and a playboy. He'll break your heart. I scoffed. This is different. He cares about me. Midway through the next year, I graduated from the conservatory. Then came the news. I was nominated for a Golden Lion Award for Best Supporting Actress. The most prestigious film award in the country. Equivalent to an Oscar. As a rookie, I didn't expect to win, just happy for the exposure. Wearing a Dior haute couture gown, I walked the red carpet, posing for photos. When my name was called, I froze. Ethan nudged me, grinning, and I stumbled on stage. The trophy in my hands was ice cold. Surreal. In my speech, I thanked the team, the director, and Michael. After the ceremony, I tried calling Michael, but his phone went straight to voicemail. Sophia said he was filming overseas. Busy. I called my parents next. They'd initially raged at my divorce, calling me reckless for moving to Hong Kong with a stranger. They'd begged me to reconcile with John, threatened to drag me home. But I'd stood my ground, sending money regularly until they came around. Now, seeing me on TV, they boasted to neighbors. Tonight, they congratulated me. Teary, finally proud. At the after-party, I couldn't wait to get home. Since Michael was away, I'd celebrate with Joey. But when I arrived at the villa, his assistant's car was parked out front. He blocked my path. Awkward. Joey's at her uncle's, staring at the lit windows. I understood instantly. Don't tell Michael I was here, I said. In my gown, clutching a bottle of champagne, I sat in my car all night. The city lights blurred as tears fell. This is the reality of loving a man who belongs to everyone. Fame, fortune, but no happily ever after. At dawn, a stunning young woman exited the penthouse, petite, curvy, radiating sex appeal. Michael's assistant drove her away as I watched, torn between rage and resignation. An hour later, I touched up my makeup, straightened my gown, and entered the penthouse clutching my champagne and trophy. Michael sat at the dining table in a silk robe, collar open to reveal fresh claw marks on his chest. Welcome back, he said, arms outstretched. Congratulations. My best supporting actress. I smiled stiffly as he hugged me. Best supporting actress, how ironic. Wish I could have celebrated with you first, I lied, fighting tears as his date's perfume clung to him. The crew insisted on a party. Michael eyed me appreciatively. Perfection. I watched the live stream last night, you were breathtaking. We both knew what he'd done, but neither spoke. He poured champagne, tracing my nose with his finger. Now every eligible bachelor in Hong Kong will be chasing you. I raised my glass. Doubt it beats your roster of admirers. Mr. Chen. We drank in silence until he broke it. Zoe. I care about you. But I was raised in London and New York. My views on relationships are Western. I believe in open connections. My stomach dropped. Meaning? Meaning we can see other people while staying together. No strings. No jealousy. Can you accept that? I vented to Sophia, who exploded. I knew he was a player. But this? Open relationship, my ass. I sobbed into my Dior gown. Keep scolding him. Please. She wiped my tears. Exasperated. I told you not to fall for him. Now what, you'll accept this garbage? What choice do I have? I sniffled. Date other people. You're a Golden Lion winner, hot actors are lining up. Make him jealous. I shook my head. Michael can have girlfriends. But I can't. My career depends on him. I have to pay the price. Even if it hurts. Sophia sighed. So you're just willingly sinking in? I hugged her. Pour me a drink. A big one. Either out of guilt or compensation. Michael gifted me a Birkin and lined up A-list projects. I threw myself into work with films. Occasional TV. Even a forgettable album. I bought a mansion in Repulse Bay. moving my parents in. Between shoots, I traveled, took classes, and raised Joey, who rarely saw her father but clung to me. Mom, he's a jerk, she once said. Leave him. I'd considered it, but knew how brutal the industry was for women without connections. So I stayed. His fiancée in name only. Cleaning up his messes when he grew bored of girlfriends. After our first 5-year contract, we renewed for another. By year 8, Joey was a teen. And I shifted focus to producing. Betting on the mainland Chinese market boom. Michael slowed down. Though, no new girlfriends in 2 years. Whispers he was losing his touch. He wrote a script for me. Starring Ethan Lin. We lost at the Golden Lions. But Michael won Best Director. And our film gained international acclaim. At a press conference, a reporter teased. Ethan and Zoe say they're counting on you for their Oscar wins. Michael, can we trust you? He laughed, glancing at me. Marry Zoe. Adopt Ethan, we'll be family. Of course they can trust me. As our second contract neared its end, Michael cooked a gourmet meal at home. Red roses, my favorite, centering the table. I watched him chop vegetables in a white shirt and jeans. The same outfit he'd worn the day we met in West City. What are you staring at? He asked, placing a lobster dish down. Just thinking about our first meeting. You were so annoyed when I chased you down. Covered in garbage. He smiled wistfully. Your eyes were so bright, like nothing could stop you. I couldn't look away. I sucked on a lemon slice from my water. Sour. He poured wine for himself. Juice for me. Joey called me the other day. She said you were vomiting. And your assistant bought a pregnancy test. His voice softened. Are we having a baby? I took his wine, gulping it down. Joey's too nosy. I'm not pregnant. The lie tasted bitter. I had been pregnant, but I'd terminated the pregnancy in secret. Pain flickered in Michael's eyes. So quick I almost missed it. He rested his hand on my shoulder, smiling softly. It's strange, used to hate kids. But now I want a lively home. Zoe, let's plan an Iceland vacation. You've always wanted to see the northern lights, right? I agreed warmly. Sounds good, I'll have Sophia check our schedules. Michael froze, forcing a laugh. Sophia's a go-getter, started her own agency these past 2 years. Killing it. Heard she signed some talented young actors? Yep. I nodded, picking up a vegetable with my fork. I knew perfectly well the real agenda behind this meal. He wanted to renew our contract. With my current fame and clout, he was beating around the bush. So I'd play innocent. Zoe. About. Michael sat across from me, clearing his throat. Our contract's ending. What's your plan? I set down my fork. Been swamped, I forgot to mention I won't renew. I'm joining Sophia's agency. His gaze dropped, a flicker of dismay crossing his face. At your level, you don't need an agent. I smiled faintly. It's about supporting her. She's done so much for me, it's my way of giving back. Good. Good. He took a long sip of wine, staring at me intently. I want to marry you. Zoe. I've loved you all these years, truly. Silence. I traced the petals of a crimson rose. Remember when I won Best Supporting Actress? The night sky was beautiful. I stared at it all night. Michael looked down, avoiding my eyes. I couldn't read his expression, sadness, regret, or just discomfort. It didn't matter. I'm leaving. Michael. As I reached the door, he called out abruptly. Zoe. You've always been so self-aware. Always knew your worth. After all these years. Did you ever love me? I didn't turn back. Of course I did. 2 months later, filming took me to West City for 2 weeks. Joey insisted on coming, curious to see where I grew up and try all the local street food. West City had changed drastically in 11 years. Crowds of fans swarmed the airport. Amid the chaos, I thought I saw a familiar face, but it was gone in a flash. At the hotel, Joey flopped onto the bed with a groan. Never traveling with a celeb again. My feet are killing me. Now 15. She was tall, stunning, and the spitting image of her father. A dry voice came from the doorway, "Told you not to tag along. Enter Dylan, my new boyfriend." A British model and Michael's youngest brother. Tall, toned, and annoyingly charismatic. We'd hit it off instantly during a trip to London 2 months prior. Joey shot him a glare. "You're the reason Zoe isn't my mom." Dylan slung an arm around me, grinning as he kissed my cheek. "She's only 32. Kid. Don't age her." Just then, my assistant knocked. "There's a John Smith here with his daughter. Saying he's your relative." My heart skipped a beat. John Smith, the name felt like a blast from the past. "Send them up. And have security present." John looked years older, balding, heavy-set, and hidden behind thick glasses. Beside him stood a teenage girl, Lily, with burn scars on her left cheek. She shrank into herself at the sight of Joey's confidence. "Zoe," Joey said softly, sensing the tension. "Want me to take Lily for a walk?" I hesitated. Memories of Lily's betrayal in my past life lingering. "Actually, could you and Dylan give us a moment?" Dylan nodded, ushering Joey out. John stiffened as they passed. "Alone?" I asked coolly. "What do you want, John?" He stared at me, intense. "Zoe. I was reborn too. I remember everything." I motioned for my security guard to stay close. "Go on." "I was an idiot. I ruined us. Emily ruined us." "I'm sorry." I studied him. Gone was the arrogant professor, replaced by a man haunted by regret. "Lily's scars," he began, "are a consequence of choices you made," I finished. "I know." He swallowed. "I want to make amends. For Lily's sake. Yours." I stood, grabbing my coat. "I don't need your amends, John. But Lily deserves better." As I left, his final words trailed after me. "You were always too good for me." John Smith looked at me, lowering his eyes as he hugged his daughter. "Lily's your biggest fan. She'd love your autograph." He gave Lily a gentle push. "You were so excited at home, why so shy now?" "Huh?" Lily looked up timidly, her eyes overly eager as they darted around. "Hi, Ms. Sue. I've watched all your movies and shows. I love you so much. I always wish you were my mom. Thanks for your support." I handed her an orange. Clearly, these lines were rehearsed. I smiled faintly. "Mr. Smith, did you come here to ask for something?" His expression turned complicated. "Ms. Sue, can we talk alone?" "No." I refused bluntly. He stared at me intently. "Zoe. I was reborn too." At this, I nodded to my guard to take Lily out. I kept Zhao, my trusted guard, in the room. "Sipping tea?" I asked. "When did it happen?" "Last month." Tears filled his eyes. "I remember everything, past life. This life. All of it. I was an idiot. I hated you for bringing Michael to catch me with Emily. But now I realize. I deserved it. I deserved to die 10 times for what I did to you." I looked out the window. Why dwell on the past? We divorced and moved on. Checking my watch, I added, "I have a meeting soon. Can't chat long." "Zoe." He knelt, blocking me. "Even if you hate me, Lily is your daughter. You can't be this heartless." I scoffed. I'd already investigated John and Emily before coming to West City. They'd married quickly, but reality soured their love. Emily resented caring for John's disabled mother and their poor finances, turning to gambling and cheating. One winter, Lily had been burned by a space heater while left unattended. Now, Emily was having an affair with her high school sweetheart. And John wanted a divorce. "Spit it out," I said, yawning. He sat up, gripping the coffee table. "You're successful now. For old time's sake, lend me $1 million. I laughed. "How bold. Why should I?" Glancing at the guard. He straightened. "Because you burned Emily's college acceptance letter. Think your fans would love that story? I shook my head. Not really. Furious. He slammed the table. I found the anonymous letter that got me fired. It was mailed from S-City, the same route to Hong Kong. You sent it. You ruined us. So? I shrugged. I've weathered worse scandals. Go ahead and leak it. Fans might even like me standing up to cheaters. He deflated. Begging again. Lily's scarred. She needs plastic surgery. Her fiancé broke off the engagement because of it. Please help her. No. You're heartless. He lunged for the window. I'll jump unless you pay. My guard Zhao tried to calm him. Sir. Let's discuss this. I have nothing to say to this bitch. John shouted, swinging one leg out the window. Choose now, money or blood on your hands. Do you even know if Lily is your daughter? I asked coolly. He froze. What? I tossed a VHS tape on the floor. I brought this for you. I had your DNA tested years ago. Sorry to break it. But she's not yours. Mother? Yes. Father? Not so sure. You're lying, he roared. Test her yourself if you don't believe me. Face pale. He staggered against the wall. Then stormed out without a 2 weeks later. As word. I boarded my flight from West City. I bought a newspaper. The headline blared, Rural Teacher Kills Wife Over Affair. Daughter Found Crying in Blood. So tragic. Poor girl. Screaming for parents who failed her. Dylan wrapped an arm around me. What's on your mind? Leaning into him. I smiled. Just thinking life's too short to waste. Let's eat, drink, and enjoy after we land. Always. He kissed my temple. The plane soared above the clouds, leaving West City and the past far behind.